Okay, so this is going to be an overview of good sources for you in your research on weapons of mass destruction. So we're going to start at the library homepage, which you're all familiar with already. We're going to click on Internet Pathfinders. And wait for it to load. And International Studies. And this page should be familiar to you, but this time instead of clicking on General International Studies, you're going to click on Weapons of Mass Destruction. We have many, many links for you to choose from, but because we're short on time, I want to show you one link that I think will be useful for everyone for many of the questions that you have to answer for your project. And it is this Nuclear Threat Initiative Research Library Country Profiles. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it and show you what it looks like, show you some great features. Okay, so this it stands for Nuclear Threat Initiative, and it's an excellent source that has just a ton of information for you. And 10 of the 15 countries that you guys are assigned are covered and have a great country profile. I'm going to show you Argentina's just to give you an example. So it starts with an overview. So it tells you about their history with nuclear weapons. If you scroll down, you'll notice it then goes to biological weapons. There's a lot here, so it keeps going. Chemical weapons, etc. Another great feature that you'll notice is that if you hover on any of the blue links, it gives you a quick overview of what you're talking about. So if you're reading it and you're like, I don't remember what uranium enrichment is, you can just click on it and this box pops up. It's amazing. It's a great source, and it will really help you get an overview of where your country's gone on these resources. In addition, it talks about treaties that Argentina has been about, the facilities that they still own or used to own. Some analysis will give you some background information, and a link to official documents, which will link you right to United Nations Security Council documents, General Assembly documents, etc. So it's fantastic. Now, unfortunately, there are 5 countries that don't have country profiles on this NTI website, and those are, you can probably guess, Chad, Rwanda, Nigeria, Luxembourg, and Chile. But never fear, this website also, we decided to give you a specific link to this part. You could access it just through the website, but it was kind of a circuitous route. So this link right here, oh, not this one has treaties and regimes, but this one, UN SCR 1540 resources. So many of you are probably familiar with, well, you will be after your reading, what the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1540 requires that all countries do everything by any means possible to stop nuclear proliferation and the spread of chemical weapons. So if you are one of those 5 countries, instead of having a complete country profile, what we do have are regional information. So I'm going to click on, now if you were Luxembourg, you'd go to Western Europe. If you were Chile, you'd go to Latin America. I'm going to click on Sub-Saharan Africa, just to show you what's there. And in this, you're really going to want to make use of the Command F, so you can research things. It's a dog barking in the background. So the research, for example, if you want to find out about Nigeria, what's awesome about Control F is it'll take you to all the parts of the article that talk about Nigeria. So this gives you an overview of the region. So it's a really great resource. In addition, if you go to the table of contents, you can go to the specific country. So for example, Chad gives you lots of information about Chad. So again, NTI is going to be a great source that's really going to help you answer all of those questions. Okay, so we don't have enough time to go over other sources, but 2 other sources that I think are really useful and worth checking out, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but they're fantastic, is this Arms Control Association. It gives a lot of brief bullet-pointed facts and threat initiatives, so you'll have a chance to look at that, so definitely explore that one. And the other one that's really pretty great, and I'll show you that really quick, is the UN Office for Disarmament Affairs website. So it's specifically from the United Nations. If you hover over weapons of mass destruction, you see you have lots of choices to talk about. And I'll just show you nuclear, for example, and some of the resources that are there. So it tells you, gives you an overview about nuclear weapons. You can look at all of the test ban treaties that you've talked about. This map is really a great source. Okay, if it gets bigger, it's pretty fantastic. Oops, but it's a little slow. There we go. So it's a really great map that will be helpful. I'm going to close this up. You'll have to explore this on your own because, like I said, I am short on time, unfortunately. Okay, so those three, once again, NTI, all of these, and you'll notice as you search, NTI is linked many, many times in many different ways. Okay, so the next place I'm going to show you is super important, and you are going to be using this a lot in the next few days. And to get to that, we're going to go back to the International Studies page, which you can click this link right here. And it's going to hopefully not be too slow. You're going to click on the United Nations. So the first place, there's lots of good sources here, and they're really well described by Ms. Haugen. I can't read them all to you, but one that's going to be very useful is this UN BizNet. Unfortunately, sometimes it's been a bit slow, but you'll see that it's a database from the United Nations, and there's two places that are going to be really helpful for you. The first is the index to speeches, and I'm going to do a sample one of that, and the second is the voting record search. Okay, so it's really important. So the best way, one of what you're going to use this for, is to find actual speeches so that people representing your country talking about non-proliferation and what they say and what their attitude is, and you'll really learn a lot about your country's perspective, and it will help you in writing your own speeches. So for example, for a topic, there's lots of things you could put for your keyword search, and I've listed some in the handout, but we're going to start with non-proliferation, and make sure, oops, that you are spelling it correctly. Did I spell that correctly? That's good. And then the second thing you're going to do is country. So let's look for, I don't know, Rwanda, because Rwanda kind of got the shaft before. Now let's hope that this isn't too slow, because it's been a little bit slow lately. Yay! So look, we got 15 titles matching that. So what you have, you'll see the date. This is from 2014, December 18th, so really, really recent. This is the name of your speaker. It's probably worth writing down. And the way you're going to get to the actual speech is by clicking on, unless you want to hear it in French or Spanish, you're going to click on English. Okay. And hopefully it's going to open up and not keep us waiting too long. But come on, let's go. Yeah, it's a little bit slow. Okay. When you get to it, what you're going to find, ooh, it's opening, yay. Okay, so you'll see the actual speech of what happened. And once again, you're going to make a lot of use of the Command F key. And we were going to look at Rwanda. And look, it takes you right to the speech and exactly what Mr. Sana said about weapons of mass destruction. Some of the reading's a little bit challenging, and you're going to notice a pattern. The first two paragraphs are a lot of niceties, thanking people, doing things like that. But it goes on to talk about what they want and what they think about non-proliferation. So this is just one speech. There's many more. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and go back. So that's BizNet. Another thing, so you could look and you could do that for any of those. So you're going to use that. The voting record search is the second place I want to show you. Okay, and for this you're going to actually get voting records. Okay, so the way you're going to do that, again, you're going to go to keyword. This one doesn't give you as many choices. So let's go ahead and try again, non-proliferation. Make sure we're spelling it right. Now this is something you could do. You could limit it. Since you're looking for voting records, the best one for you to pick is really going to be General Assembly resolutions adopted with a vote, because you want to see how your country voted. Okay. And this is just one place to get voting records. I have another place if I don't run out of time. Okay, great. I'm so glad it's working. So here you get 55 titles matching non-proliferation. Again, the dates. This is a recorded vote. We have yes 120, no 53, abstentions 9, non-voting 11. Okay. Now if you click on this, you're going to get the actual resolution itself. Okay, you're not going to necessarily get who voted for what. But if you click on this link, which is the follow-up to nuclear disarmament obligations agreed to, okay, so you click on that, and this one's been notoriously slow. Oh, I'm so happy it's working. And again, you can make use of your Command F key. Let's say we want to find out how Argentina voted. And we see right there that they voted yes. Just out of curiosity, let's see how the United States voted. Oh, they voted no. Interesting. So you don't really know why, but at least you have information about how your country has voted on different things. So you guys can look at a variety of those. Your teachers don't expect you to do all of them. But those are just 2 ways that you can use BizNet. Okay, so I'm going to go back to, oops, not there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the library homepage once again to show you 2 other ways to look at voting records. And we're starting to run out of time, so I'm going to be really quick, or try to be really quick. Again, we're at the United Nations. So this is another great place, and I'm not going to show you all of them, but these 3 right here, Resolutions and Voting in the General Assembly, and United Nations Research Guides and Resources, is going to give you even more information. So if you click on this, this is all the resolutions that have been discussed and voted on in the 69th session, which is the most recent one. So if you Command F once again, and let's see if there's any about non-proliferation, and lo and behold, make sure you do the hyphen. We have one here, and there's 2 ways that you can link to this. This gives you the actual resolution, so you can look at it. And if you click on this, notice it's in the General Assembly. There was no vote on this one, so this isn't helping you with voting records, but it'll give you that there. So let's see if there's, there's another match for non-proliferation. Let's see if that one has vote. This one does have a vote. You can see down here 183 to 0. Okay, so that's one, and this is about women, disarmament, non-proliferation, and arms control. So you see that everyone voted on it. And clicking on this link, you get something that's really useful too. And that is a link to the press release. So not only will it talk about the resolution, it explains it in a little more detail. And once again, you can do a Command F to see if you can find out about voting. Like maybe it'll tell you the votes, and you get a lot, 9 matches. So if you keep looking at the votes every time, it's 47 recorded votes, etc., etc. Oh, it talks about who abstained and who voted, so it gives you more specifics here, and it explains it a little bit better. Okay, so that's another option. And for this one, if you go back, and if you want to go to older ones, you could also do different search terms. Like you could search Command F and search disarmament and see if anything. So there's one about the Disarmament Committee, and that one was without a vote. But that's another search term that might help you find what you're looking for. Or maybe even something as broad as weapons. Yeah, so you get the prohibition and production of stockpiling biological weapons. So it's good ways to find speeches, voting records, all of those things that have gone on in the United Nations about your topic. Okay, so just as a reminder, in conclusion, make sure you make a lot of use of that Command F search tool to make things easier. You're all going to want to start at the Nuclear Threat Initiative NTI links, and BizNet and the links on the United Nations webpage will give you a lot of information about speeches as well. That is all the time I have for you today. I am completely out of time, so I am going to stop. But happy researching, and I am here to help. Ask Miss Uridia or Miss Haugen if you need any help in finding things, because we're pretty familiar with these sources and can maybe help you speed it up a bit. Okay, good luck.